I like that. Thank you for playing that. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in to Deborah Kobylt Live. And Kurt, thanks for playing Bad. We have a bad show for you today. Actually, a good show. Isn't bad like a cool word, I guess? I'm still trying to get rid of all that. Anyway, thanks for being here. Our show today is about entrepreneurs and business and starting up businesses. And we're starting off with a married couple, who have started a business that probably most of you have heard about. I have. I've seen it in the lines over at Bed Bath & Beyond. Can I have this thing to hold it up? There we go. The Hang-O-Matic. I love this. I have one. And Karina and Jared Rabin, correct? Because
Yes.
I said to you before, I'm not going to say your names right. Make sure I do, because I swear to God in the beginning, I very often will do that. So please, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
That was a very long introduction, so hopefully the rest of the show will go a little better than that. We talked quite a bit today about your story and how you ended up developing Hang-O-Matic, which I think is brilliant, because what did I tell you? I very often go to hang a picture on the wall and I use my thumbprint. Usually there's nobody around. I've got a hammer, a big nail. I have a dirty thumbprint. I stick it on the wall, and then I stick in my nail, and then I hang up my picture, and then I go, I need another 3 inches up. And then I do it again. And if you take my picture up off the wall, you'll see an entire, nail hole. So this will sort of eliminate that sort of a thing, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely will.
I think it's brilliant. So I want to know how you came to inventing this thing.
Originally, it was actually in college before I met my wife, Karina.
Yeah.
Going from dorm room to dorm room, you get back charged when you destroy the walls. So I invented it by using dental floss and the tips of my fingers wet with saliva, believe it or not.
See, those fingers
to mark the wall.
work.
Oh, they did. So I prototyped in college for the first time because I don't want to pay the back charge for going from dorm to dorm.
So you're sitting there not wanting to pay for anything, and you're devising a way to pick up your, put up your pictures. But how does that end up to this?
Well, over years of prototyping it. So I went from there to my mom's garage. I made one by hand. Eventually, I got far enough along where I made a working device.
Okay.
Something that actually worked. It looked like a weapon, a medieval weapon, granted, but it worked.
So you go to college. What did you major in?
Psychology and economics.
So you major in psychology and economics. You're in your mom's garage trying to figure out how to hang a picture.
That's right.
What was mom saying about that?
She was usually cooking or something, or doing something sweet, trying to keep me nutrified with snacks.
Yeah.
My dad was at work. I've always been fidgeting, mostly breaking things, to be honest. So I usually break things. So to be in the garage, like using my dad's tools was kind of normal, always was. So for me to be gluing, soldering, taping, making a mess was kind of normal,
So she'd come outside and say, Jared, what are you doing? And you say, I'm trying to figure out a way to hang a picture on the wall and not put a hole in our walls. And that's how you did it.
Essentially, yeah. That was the start. That was how I filed a patent, and then, from there I engineered it and had it done, professionally.
And what was your role in all of this? You two worked together on developing this. I know that. Your story is incredible. You believed in your own product so much that you ended up selling your home, right? You pretty much did whatever you had to do because you believed in what you were doing, just to get this out there. So tell me how you two met, and were you already in the process of doing this, or did you meet and then do this together?
Well, when we met, he had showed me this weapon.
The medieval weapon.
What? Oh, what do you mean? So
He
you
showed
met
me-
and he goes, honey, let me take you into my garage.
No, actually, we had moved in together, and I tried to go hang up a shelf. And prior to us moving in together, I was single, living in LA, hanging up my own shelf, and I butchered the wall. So when we moved into a new apartment, I had a new wall to butcher. So I tried to hang up a shelf, and his parents had given us this snow globe that had their wedding song on it. And once I hung up the shelf, it slid
There
off,
it
off the
I
shelf.
can't
and
imagine what that sounded like. It's like,
Right, it
right?
was-
It's like-
Right. So the whole thing broke. So then he went into the closet and brought out this weapon that had nails. They were good 4 inches long.
It was like the 9th prototype right before we got it engineered.
And they were,
yeah.
and I remember they were dark. They were like, they looked like they've been, they looked like they were really old. So,
The
so
nails?
the nails looked dangerous.
It was handmade, so it was like 2 bars that slid up and down with a glued-on level that was perfectly straight, but a glued-on level. It was big, Big, accurate, and like I said, medieval is the best way I would describe it.
What, this thing was sort of in its infancy stage?
It was because when I was creating it, it went from from one version, and I slowly made it different until I made a perfectly working handmade version. So when I met her, that's where I was with it. It was a handmade version that worked perfectly. That was patented. Is where I was at when I met her.
Wow, that's pretty big. I mean, that you really believed in it, and you got that far where you said, I'm going to go somewhere with this, and you patented it. The fact that this wasn't even out there yet is kind of amazing, right? I mean, really, with all the construction, because I know you work in construction.
Right.
How this wasn't out there yet is amazing to me. But okay, so go ahead.
Anyway, so after I butchered the wall, he comes out with this thing, and I swear I thought he was going to kill me. Because this is a brand new.
How many years later and you're still together?
9 years.
I mean, it just looked that scary. Anyway, so he used it to rehang the shelf, and it worked perfect. And the snow globe was already crashed, so we put other things on the shelf, and they didn't fall. It was leveled, and I thought, oh my God, this is a genius idea. I was in sales, and I thought I have to help you and sell this thing because everyone needs to have it.
So what did you do from there? You lived together. You put up this shelf. It stayed up. Hopefully your next snow globe didn't go flying off the shelf. And it's already patented. And then how do you take it to the next level? Because I could see where people would get so discouraged and say, I'll never get this out there. But you didn't.
No. Well, I mean, so the next step basically was to get it professionally engineered. So someone had to design it to make it so it was reproducible. It could be mass produced.
But let me stop you even there, because again, for the regular guy or gal who wouldn't even know what to do, what do? You just put an ad out on Craigslist and say engineer needed to make prototype. I mean, how do you get there? I'm trying to figure out the steps for the regular guy who has an idea.
To be honest with you, it is. I mean, for me at the time, so I'm in sales and construction my whole life. It was difficult. I basically looked around for someone who had a product like mine, and I was reaching out to them and saying, where can I get this engineered? Where do you recommend? And I was asking, so I started calling engineering firms, almost like it was almost like dating. I was calling them saying, hey, what do you do? What's your specialty? And I found a company that just did tape measures and products that go back and forth. So I called many companies looking for an engineering company that did what I thought Hang-O-Matic, ultimately would look like, and I hired them. I got a quote and hired them to make it.
Was it local in California, or where were they located?
Yep, they were in Southern California. They're in Los Angeles.
Where are these made?
So today they're made in Ontario, California. And it's a made in America product today.
I love that.
Yes.
So started in California, hung in California, made in California. All of it is all homemade here in the U.S. That's great.
It was really important to me to make an American-made product in America, local in Southern California.
Well, let me ask you this. A lot of people say they have to go overseas because it's so much cheaper to make something over there. Are you finding that? Because
we did. We went there.
We tried that as well. It's
Where? Where did you go?
China.
Okay.
And it's a little cheaper. It is a little cheaper.
A little or a lot?
Well, nowadays it's a little. And it all depends on the product. So if there's a lot of hands on it, it's cheap, always way cheaper in China. Hang-O-Matic is it comes, most of the parts are coming assembled. So we have it down to a science now where there's not a tons of labor in it. It's mostly 4 or 5 pieces that get put together, goes into a machine, gets welded together, and then boxed.
Boxed and out it goes.
Correct. So as long as there's not a lot of physical labor in it, you could do it in America for maybe 10 or 15% more. But then we're not worrying about lead times. Coming from a boat in China could take 2 months. Not worrying about as many defects. I probably get 1 out of several hundred rejects, which is phenomenal. Coming from China, it's more like 10 out of 100.
Right. It never hung anything straight.
It was.
Is that right?
It was.
Were they made by hand over there, or do they have a little factory there that they were working
They have a factory, but they always go to making it by hand first because the price of the tooling is so expensive. It's cheaper to pay them, nothing and have them make everything by hand.
I mean, with this whole Made in America craze that we're back to, I would think that eventually it will be cheaper, or at least a little more cost effective to do it here, because transportation costs are enormous, and they're only going to, be on the rise. And then you've got, the charges over at the seaport, and then you have to, the trucking charges and the people to unload the stuff. There's so many layers. Whereas at least if it's here, you've got quality control. You can go over to your own, factory wherever this thing's being made and take a look at what's going on. That would make me feel better. But I would want to have a little more hands-on control of it. So.
And there's also a cash flow aspect. I mean, we're not wealthy. We're using our money from our house to pay the bills. So I go to a container load from China, and sit on inventory for a year, or I could order 10 pallets, an hour down the street and pick it up and sell it and order some more. So, there's a lot of reasons why, it makes more sense for a business to do it here. The lead time for me is a week. I can make 3,000 units a week right now.
And when we were making them overseas, there was a lead time of like 60 days, and we lost an order because there was a strike.
Right, there was the longshoreman strike. So, so it sat, I think, 120 days one time, which was just unbearable.
That would give me such a headache. I don't think I could sleep just from that kind of a thing. You really have to have a stomach for this stuff. We were talking in the car, right, earlier, and I said, it's amazing to me sometimes how anything is made and makes it in America. And obviously, this is the country where anything can happen. But there's so much that can also go wrong. So you really need the stomach for this to see it through, right? I mean, tell me some of the challenges you've had.
Well, just this experience of having a company when we were working with the company overseas, we lost a 30,000 units purchase order when we first started.
What happened to it?
They got stuck with the shoremen because of the...
They striked.
Because of the strike and because it was coming from China and it was taking too long. And we lost, it was during Christmas. It was right during Christmas.
The first big PO we ever got, we were so excited. We thought, we have to sell the house. Right, this is a good customer. It's an online customer. The margins are good. We'll be good now going forward. And they pulled the PO because...
It's our first customer.
Yeah.
But let me backtrack a little bit. So you develop this idea in your garage. You find a place to get it engineered. You finally get that together. Then what do you do? Because you have to pay for it. And you really ran into some challenges. You've got 2 little kids. You sold your home, didn't you? I mean, you really did whatever you had to do to use your own money to get this out there. So tell me some of the challenges to get it to the next level.
Well, the first thing we did is go to a trade show. Because we were watching...
Those are great.
Yes.
You get a lot of ideas there.
Yep.
And at the trade show, Jared and I literally were, like, I was the right hand, he was the left hand. And I would run after people in my heels.
Because big retailers would walk by, so the Target people would walk by.
So you were displaying this at a trade show.
Correct, and they would just walk by our booth.
And they would just keep walking like this, just passing, and you have to stop them.
Well, Karina's not acceptable to Karina. Karina attacks. So my wife is like fearless. So she would run on the aisle.
I call it brilliant. Right. She's brilliant. So she goes after what she wants.
Right.
So
I chased Home Depot in my heels.
In 4-inch heels.
In
this
4-inch
one's
heels, down
running
the
down the
aisle.
aisle.
So what did you do? You ran up to Mr. Home Depot and said, "You got to have this thing."
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I chased him. I passed him.
Girl after my own heart.
She would turn the corner. I would lose sight of her sometimes for 5 or 6 minutes. And then she'd bring the Home Depot bars suddenly.
These things do happen. They work. I mean, they really do. So, okay, so Mr. Home Depot saw it at a trade show.
Right, so and then it took 2 years to get into Home Depot. But one of the other people we met at the trade show was Bed Bath & Beyond. And the first buyer we met didn't want to work with us. He wasn't.
Did not? You said?
Did not. He
passed.
wasn't. He passed.
From where? From Bed Bath & Beyond?
Bed Bath &
Bed Bath,
Beyond.
he passed. And I'm a pit bull. I'm from New York. I just kept following up every 45, 60 days. Right, I didn't give up. I kept following up because I kind of,
You believed in it.
I believed in it, and I kind of believe in, even though you don't want something now, it's like food. You don't want a hamburger today, but you'll want it tomorrow.
So how did you go after them? Because let's face it, just looking at the packaging, clearly this is one of those things that as you're checking out at Bed Bath & Beyond, it's like, oh my God, I need that.
Right.
10 more holes in the wall, and I'm not going to have a wall anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I want to get into the packaging a little later because this is a very smart concept how you did this.
Well-
But okay, so you ran after Mr. Home Depot, you ran after Mr. Bed Bath & Beyond or Ms. Bed Bath & Beyond turned you down the first time.
Right, and then I kept following up, and then Jared got an opportunity to fly to QVC, who also said no to us.
In Pennsylvania?
Yes, ma'am.
My brother-in-law works there.
Oh,
I'll be on again in a few months.
Oh, really?
QVC is a good customer.
Same
of ours
last name, so we'll talk about that. I mean, I'd love for you to meet him. But okay, so go ahead. So
Yeah,
you went over to QVC.
They weren't interested either at the trade show.
Really?
No one was interested at the trade show.
Even with you running after them in your heels?
Now. Right.
Except the Container Store. They
Right,
were the
that's
ones
true.
that really saw where the Hang-O-Matic was going.
Right. They were
Okay.
our first our first at least customer
Retail.
across the U.S.
Yeah.
Right.
But they looked at our packaging and they were like, I'm not sure where
Right.
you're going with this.
Ugh.
It's way too big. It's ugly. And frankly, you need to redo it. And
I mean, the actual packaging
They
of
hate.
it.
Yes.
The
It was original. This is packaging number what, 5 or 6?
Yeah.
It's really brilliant. It's just easy. I don't even need to read it, and it tells me what it does.
Packaging was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have the dollars to spend on a professional, retail type, graphic designer, it's just not easy to figure out, how to package it, how it should look, how is it going to grab that customer in. Hang-O-Matic doesn't exist. It's not a new tape measure. It's something that's a whole new concept. So to get someone to walk by my box and go, oh, I need that. That was the challenge, and we had a lot of trouble doing that.
All right, so the Container Store says to you, I like it, but the package is a disaster. Nobody's
Yes.
going to get it.
Right.
What was your next step?
Well,
and
so-
how did you get the money for it?
So when I finally got him to meet with Bed Bath & Beyond when he flew to QVC, they were the ones that started discussing about packaging.
And actually helped. So the Bed Bath Beyond buyer changed, and I got the nicest, which is very unusual. And I still have the nicest Bed Bath Beyond buyer on the planet. And he literally sat with me with his assistant and helped me, just give me some ideas. And that's what it is for a living, is retail. And he really helped us kind of figure out what to do.
Timing is everything, don't you think? It's
Oh.
like being on an airplane and getting the nice steward and
Yes.
stewardess or the one who's going to toss you off the plane. You know what I mean?
We went from like ice cold to like the nicest guy who looked at, he had talked to my wife. He's like, your wife is relentless. And then I was in this presentation room, waving my arms and doing this, jumping around. And I'm hyper anyways. I drew a picture of a house for him, and I did this whole thing. So I think he saw that we were sincere and we were a family and we were needed help, and he helped.
I get your passion and I love your passion because when you're really intense about something and you're really passionate, and a lot of people go, they're a little crazy. But no, you need to keep going. If you feel something and you know something is going to go somewhere, I feel that way about things that I'm working on, and I'm thinking, I don't think anybody sees what I see, but I'm going to keep going until I know that my Bed Bath & Beyond is going to knock on my door. I get it. I really get that passion. So, okay, so they saw this and they helped you package it. They brought you to a graphic designer, right?
No, he gave me some general concepts and advised me on the type of box, what to kind of look for. So Karina chased down a
Again? You
yes.
chasing somebody down
Well,
again?
I went on
That's what she
I
did.
She's
went
brilliant.
online and
yeah,
I found a CNN TV packaging company because I figured they have to know how to design boxes because we didn't know where to go. We've tried 3-4 different graphic designers.
It feels like you're just throwing things against the wall. It felt like
No,
we were
but
throwing
I
things
call
against
it,
the wall.
here's what I call it. You're throwing spaghetti on the wall.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And you see which one sticks.
Yes.
Right.
One will stick. And
That's
I'm
what it felt
telling
like.
you keep going, and no matter how crazy people think you are, that's what it takes. I really believe that.
And even,
okay,
and even
so
now, that's what we do. It's just like our thing. Like if there's a new buyer and she ignores Karina, then I start calling her. Or I start emailing her, and we think, oh, maybe she'll respond to a boy, or
Yes.
maybe she'll respond to a card, maybe she'll respond to an email. I mean, we just just keep throwing it out there until something sticks.
do we have a little video of how Hang-O-Matic works? Do we have that?
Yes, we do.
Do you have a sec to put it on?
Why?
What you do is you get the item, turn it backwards, line up the first anchor point with the first pointer, put the bubble lever in the center,
My old kitchen.
line up the second one. When it's perfectly in the center, you lock it down, you bring it up to the wall, and as soon as you show your level with the bubble, right in the middle, you press on both sides, you end up with very distinctive double points. Insert nail 1, insert nail 2. Of course, you could use a screw or an anchor as well. Hangs up perfectly every time.
Oh, he was 6 months.
Hang-O-Matic
then.
easily collapses to 8 inches and measures up to 6 feet for larger items and walls. Lightweight and compact, it easily fits in any drawer.
I like that. And where did you guys shoot the commercial?
That's the house we had to sell.
So that's the house you had to sell
Yeah.
what? To pay for this whole thing, to
Yeah.
pay for the packaging, to pay for everything. Yeah, but let me ask you this. Do you have other investors or are you it? Because then you get the big payoff.
No one else. That was
Okay, I think that's
yeah.
smart.
I
A
was
lot of
trying
people
not
say,
to.
oh my God, I had to sell everything.
Yes.
But you're going to get the big payoff at the end. I
Right.
think that's smarter, really. Instead of having 2, 3, 4 investors, even one other investor,
Right.
you don't have to listen to them. It's all yours.
Right.
So you sold your home to pull the money out of it to put into this. Okay, so how many years ago was this? You're developing the product, you're going on QVC. When was this?
I mean, I patented it I'm 37. I patented it in
2000.
college. I was 19 when I started
Okay,
developing
see,
it.
people, how long things take. Don't give up if you have an idea. I believe in this. I really do. Just keep going. Grandma Moses, listen to me. She was in her 80s when she became famous for her painting. She didn't give up. You just
Right.
keep going until eventually you have your own Hang-O-Matic.
Right, and continue with my education. I went to school. I got a job. I still have that same job. I haven't quit yet. I mean, you can't just stop. I never stopped that. I mean, obviously, marrying Karina was a big catalyst in getting to the next level. But
Did
I
she
still
run
work.
you down too? I mean, did you like run after him? Is this how you grabbed him too, or did you go running after her?
We met on an online dating website, and I think we both we had two dates in the same night on our first date,
And we moved in together.
and we moved in together 30
Wait,
days
wait,
later.
wait. 2 dates together, or you had another one and then you
No,
went to
we,
her?
we met up at 6 o'clock
For like
for
an-
appetizers, and then
we went our own way because we had plans. We were just gonna meet up real fast, and then we texted throughout the night, and we met up again for dinner.
Drinks.
For drinks, yeah.
Wow.
and then he never left.
and then you never left.
He moved
She
in-
texted. She
He
texted
moved in
me.
his dog.
No, what did you text me in the car? You said, because I told you I've been with my husband for a while, and you said, what's the
Secret? I said,
what's the
"What's the
secret?
secret?"
I said, what did I say to
He
you?
said,
Kill him.
So you want to kill him?
But I can't, so you just stay. So that,
Right. We get divorced every now and then.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
you're
I-
still
I-
together. You know, you gotta
yeah.
hang around. No pun intended.
Right.
So show me how this thing works, would you please? I mean, I know that we saw it there, but that's a video display. Like, how easy is it? Can we get this thing on? Do we have them?
So it basically is a modified tape measure. I mean, to keep
Yeah, it really is.
simple,
It's a tape
It's a
measure.
tape measure. It's a 6-foot tape measure. It has a sliding point. So what you do is you line up these 2 points with the back of the item you're going to hang, whether it's a shelf, a mirror, a flat screen television. These 2 points line up so they're now completely lined up with the back that I'm going to hang. Now we're talking about the harder things hang, 2 anchor point items, not the one, a cable in the middle. Anyone can hang one.
A wine
These are
rack.
the 2. And shelves especially are always difficult. Towel bars. So once you line them up, you put the bubble in the center. Now it's spaced correctly. You bring it up to your drywall. Now I want it here on my drywall. I just bring it up, bubble in the center. There's a-
Wait, down a little lower.
Okay, sorry. Bubble's right here. And so as soon as the bubble I see in the center here, I just press on both sides. And what you end up with is
Kind of
2.
like I've seen the contractors use that little, what is it called, leveler?
It's a level. It's a bubble.
Yeah.
This is a bubble level.
Yeah.
I just modified it to fit my tool. But what you do is you dimple the wall with 2 distinctive dimple marks. So they have these 2 little
Right, so
little
instead
teeth.
of using your fingerprint like I told you I do, I literally will make sure that my fingers are a little dirty and I will stick my fingerprint on the wall. It's so
Right.
pathetic, I'm telling you.
That-
You know, I live in a nice home. I don't need to do these things, but that's how I hang my stuff.
Right.
This is a much more dignified way of hanging your stuff and making sure that it's level so that your snow globe doesn't go flying off the
Right.
shelf, right?
And it's reusable. I mean, it's so small. You're done with it. It's only 9
lightweight.
inches, lightweight. It's not disposable. We're not creating more waste.
So
And
it's
it
not
expands
just
to
for
6 feet.
Yeah, and you can also just use it as a regular tape
Right.
measure. That's another
Absolutely.
thing. It's a tape measure with a purpose. That's what I would
Exactly.
call
I
it,
keep
right?
it in
You
my
can
junk
coin
drawer.
that one if you want. Tape measure with a purpose.
That's actually really
Right.
good. That's actually really good.
Take it.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's on me. All right. Tape measure with a purpose. I'm really very good at this stuff. You can consult with me.
Hashtag.
I'll give you
We're
some good
going to.
ideas. Hashtag tape. I'm going to hashtag that today. Tape measure with a purpose. But it's true. So not just regular people like me using it. How about contractors and other people? Because you said now you're in Bed Bath & Beyond, which is so amazing to me. I buy all my stuff half the time at the checkout counter. I'm like, oh my God, I need this and this. And it's perfect, right?
Yep.
Someone, how much is this thing at Bed Bath?
$14.95.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
one of those quick ones where it's not $100. It's
Right, it's
15
under
bucks.
15
And
Right.
so your Bed Bath, your
Hobby Lobby,
Hobby Lobby,
the Container Store.
Container Store. They're your first ones. So you
Those
got to
are
be
first
very
ones.
very loyal
Yes.
to them.
Oh,
So always
and-
stay loyal.
And again, they're so kind too. They're not a huge company. They're 100-something locations. They're always super nice too.
I think 70 locations.
So there was 102.
Yeah, I'm
And-
always
and-
loyal. If somebody gives you a break, no matter what,
Right.
they're your go-to always,
Yeah.
right? So okay, Container Store, Hobby Lobby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where that. Where's Hobby Lobby?
Hobby Lobby. It's a craft store.
It's a huge, massive warehouse type craft store.
Okay.
And we're right at the checkout there.
That's your place, the checkout. Because if you're going to get stuck on an aisle, not so good. Okay, Home Depot though.
So
That's like
October.
amazing.
So October. So
That's
in
it.
August, I ship to every Home Depot in North America.
You'll be too big to touch then. You will get your house back then.
Oh, hope so.
Hopefully, yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be your giant payoff. Are you going to be in all Home Depots or just
All 2,000 locations.
That's huge. Okay, what must Mom think now? Okay, you were sitting there in the garage, just hanging stuff up on the walls, trying not to make holes in it.
So our similarity is her and I always have a million ideas. That's where so my mom's used to me saying, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. So so my mom's always believed in me. So I need Karina's approval, and that makes me happy. I love my mom, but Karina, as long as she's proud of me, that's all.
Oh my God! Oh, this is adorable. Oh, I love this. You guys aren't going to be fighting on the way out of here. I mean, this is real. This is real.
But I would love.
Of course,
but I love her
right?
to
We
death.
were fighting before I walked in.
See, that's the way it
Yeah,
is.
but I
I
could
was
fight.
too before I left. I was irritated that my husband wouldn't get out of the bathroom in time. So this is the way it goes, right? In good relationships.
yeah.
Talk about challenges. We lived together, worked together, breed children together.
Okay, you got
Right.
two
Have a
kids.
dog
2 kids.
together.
So you're developing this with, you got 2 kids. You've got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old?
Almost 1-year-old.
Ooh, are they playing with this thing at home? I mean,
The 4-year-old, the 4-year-old now can put them in inner packs and put them in master cases and bring them to the garage for shipping.
He helps with shipping.
What's next? Because if you guys are always thinking of ideas, okay, because you can't just, you probably have other ideas for the home, right? I mean,
Well,
what else are you thinking about cooking up?
A Hang-O-Matic Pro later this year.
A pro?
So Hang-O-Matic Pro will
So
have
it's better than this? So
Well, it'll have a stud finder,
oh.
a laser level.
Yeah, stud finder is a big deal because, again, you don't want to stick it into drywall if it's too heavy.
Exactly. So that'll be the upgrade. The handle will have a stud finder in it, and it'll be a little heavier duty. So this is very like DIY, 6-foot, light duty, thin tape. I want the Pro version will be a little more, a little thicker. The way I designed the handle was to fit my wife and my mom's hand. I kept having them grabbing it, and going.
Oh,
Does this fit?
let me try. Let me see.
So that was really important to me
I
that
didn't
their
try
hand
that.
wrapped around it.
Yeah, because I have a small hand, actually, really small.
And I also feel like tools are always designed for men. I wanted my tool to be able to work with my wife or my mom, as well as myself. So
But the contractor's using, especially if it's got a, what did you call it on the back?
Stud finder.
A stud finder.
Right. So that's where I'll
It's quite a name, a stud finder, but later. I had to. So other than developing this a little sturdier, stronger with a stud finder, what's after this? So you must have other ideas because people like you are just up in the middle of the night thinking of stuff.
Oh, I have one, but we don't talk about it.
What is it? A little
Because
bit.
last time I talked about it, I went into the Container Store and bought it.
Right.
Because I told somebody
Yeah, but
about
you
it.
can always make it better. It's like having an Italian restaurant.
Right.
There's always another one around the block that's better. So you can always, make whatever you've got. There's another idea that you can have, right?
I think for us, a third idea will to be either to write something or be able
for
to help
sure.
people. Because it was a maze to get where I got now. We're talking 15, 16, 17 years and $500,000 in wasted. Is to be a contact, to be someone who could help. With very low expectations, with very low. Asking to be a source to guide someone a little better. All the mistakes I made, I won't make them again.
Let me just.
You can't go to college and learn
This.
retail
Right.
I have
business.
3 kids, okay? And with the first, I was super concerned about the grades. With the second, I didn't have to be concerned about the grades. But with the third one, he's a little more entrepreneurial. He's a sports kid. And I watch people in my school, I watch parents in particular who are freaked out about grades and they have to get somewhere. And I think, oh my God, if you people could just relax because it's not about your grades. It's about what's going on in your head. It's not about where you go. It's really not. I mean, unless you really want to go to Harvard Business School
Right.
and go that whole route. But most people don't. And it's really about what's going on in here. And the schooling isn't as important as what you got and how far you can take it, don't you think?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I try and say that all the time, and it's very difficult. But if you've got it, the rest doesn't really matter. You just
Right.
keep pushing.
No, I always felt like school taught me to keep in the lines, and I feel like people
Oh
that
my
are
God.
successful
I say this all
are
the
pushing out of the
time.
lines.
I say this all the time, and by trying to push out of the line, you're kind of looked at as you're a little cuckoo,
Right,
You're
agreed.
like, oh God, can't they ever just sit still? Can't they just,
do what they're told.
do what they're
Right.
told? And you just can't, right? And this is what I'm trying to get across to other people out there who feel like they're not in the lines either. That's okay. Color outside of the lines, because if you've got something there, people will find it. You just can't give up, right? You can't. You've
Right.
got to keep going. Isn't that
Right.
right? Now, one more thing about you. You have kidney disease, correct? I love this about you. A portion of your proceeds go toward the
George Lopez Foundation, which is a
Because-
kidney foundation.
right, which is brilliant. I love.
Sorry. I always start crying, but then it goes away and I can talk about it.
No, it's okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
So the sad part is it's a polycystic kidney disease, and there's no cure, there's no pills, there's no chemo,
So what do you
there's no
do?
machine, there's nothing other than
Nothing.
death.
Death.
Kidneys fail, and you can go on dialysis and live on dialysis for however long you can possibly live on dialysis, which to me is not really life.
It's the most unresearched genetic disorder is polycystic kidney disease, which Karina has.
Yeah. So my mom died, and her 2 brothers died, and they all died exactly 12 months apart of each other when either I or my cousin's wife had kids. so a kid was born and one of them died. A kid was born and so it was like for 3 years in a row we had life and death at literally in the same week.
We talked about
So,
that as well
yeah.
in the car, and that is something that is, and especially that you have little children, you've got
Right.
your own illness, and then you're burying your family. The strength you have to pull from, thank God
Right.
you have each other, and your little kids, and this wonderful business that you're developing. It's incredible. I really applaud you guys. I think
Thank
you're
you.
amazing. Go ahead.
I was
please.
just saying, I feel like since this is something I have to live with, I want to help other kids that shouldn't have to go through the experience that I'm going through. I shouldn't have learned what I have at 10 years old because there's nothing I can do. So I want to help other kids not
And
have
also
to.
shed some light to the disease. You said
Right.
it's not well talked about. This
Not at all.
particular, my dad had kidney disease, but he was older and he developed it for complications and whatnot. I mean, you're a young person, and to have developed this now, and to shed some light on it too.
Right.
I think that's really amazing. You're an incredible woman.
Thank you.
Does it ever bring you down a little physically, where you're just tired and you're like, oh my God, I can't keep going?
Sometimes, but I hustle. I have to.
You have to. You just keep going.
Right, I have to keep going. My kids can't see me down.
No,
You know-
and your fans of Hang-O-Matic can't see you down
Right.
either.
Right.
They have stuff to hang on the
Right.
walls. People around the world
Right.
have stuff to hang. Oh, are you anywhere else, by the way, in the world? I know you're going to be big here in the U.S. and-
We've shipped a few pallets to Germany. I run right now in QVC
Oh, in
UK. I just got
England?
back from London. I was on QVC London. We did really well. New Zealand, Germany. That's it right now. But I feel like the last 12 months have been phenomenal. We're just starting to really get out there.
Yeah, we're waiting on Target.
What was your
That's the
initial
next-
investment? Am I allowed to ask you that? Like about?
Gee, lost count.
I mean, I'm about $500,000 into this after 16, 17 years
$500,000 of your own money
of all of our own
into
money.
this.
We
Any projections of when you'll make that back and then some?
Well, this year will be the first year ever that I end up in the black. So I'm
That's-
actually going to make money this year.
That is incredible
Yeah.
because that's just the start of it.
Right.
You're only just starting to get it out there.
Right.
Once you're in every Home Depot,
Right.
game over.
And that's why I say I still work full time. So I still work 50 hours a week on my day job. I have at my day job. I have my work laptop, my hangaMatic laptop side by side. At night, I work at hangaMatic. So my day job pays our bills and pays for years paid for hangaMatic.
Would you stay for another for our next segment because we have other entrepreneurs that are on the phone. I love these women. Are you on the phone, Gina and Alexia?
Yes, we are.
Oh, thank you for hanging on. Sorry about that. Their story was so compelling. They are such lovely people, and I love what they do. And Gina and Alexia are sisters, and they have a company called Nikki and Stella.com. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. I love the picture of you guys. We have a picture of them there. Look how adorable they are. Where are you calling me from? Down in Orange County?
Yes, in Orange County.
Look at them. I love. That's the kiosk, right? You have your business currently, right? Is it a kiosk at what's the mall that you're at down there? The Fashion Island?
We're at Fashion Island, but actually our business, the majority of it, we have a website that we've had for about 2 years now. So we're an online business, and we just opened the cart down at Fashion Island in April.
But
So
that's
it's
what
only
a,
been a couple of months.
but
so
what
far,
a
so good.
what a great place to highlight what you have though down in Fashion Island, because I know where your kiosk is located, right? I mean that's right near the food court, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right next to the koi pond, which is great because that's where a lot of moms take their kids and
Yep.
go kind of check out the fish and play around. So it's great. It's an amazing location. We're very happy to have that one.
Oh, what you've guys done is amazing. You call yourselves Shop the Look. You're kind of the Shop the Look brands for little kids, isn't that right? Like, how did you start this? How did you develop it? What was the idea behind it?
Well, basically, I mean, Gina and I are obviously sisters. We both have children. I have a little girl. She has a little boy. And we have, for the longest time, had wanted to start a business together. And one day it just kind of came to us, and we decided to go into kids' clothing. And basically, you know, this is Alexia speaking. My background is in buying. I was a buyer for about 15 years for a big box corporation. And so that's kind of where my history is. And Gina actually ran our dad's office while she worked for him. So between the two of us, it kind of felt like we had both of the skills that we could, you know, make this happen. So, you know, we set out to find some really cool kids brands, and we actually came across all of these amazing brands on Instagram, like these very cool independent kids clothing that you don't really find everywhere else. And so we basically put that together with our own brand of T-shirts that we make. And we've created basically an easy, fun shopping experience for busy moms, because we know that we're all super busy. And we have a section on our website, as you mentioned, that's called Shop the Look. And basically we put together, some of our brands, some of the other brands, and we make full ready-to-buy outfits. You just select the size that you need and add to the cart, and we kind of take the guesswork out of it for you.
So you have some brands that are already out there, popular brands, but you also sort of combine it with some things that you've designed as well. Isn't that correct? You sort of put it all together. You know who else is doing that down there? Do you know these folks, Mother Trucker hats? Do you know those people?
Yeah, they're good friends of ours, actually.
I love them. They were on our show too, and I think they are brilliant what they're doing. They have little kid hats too, mom and kid hats, and I love them. They're amazing. Have you sort of?
We actually carry a brand on our website.
Do you really? I think they're brilliant, and what their marketing is so great, and they're on Instagram too. And I'm always watching their stuff pop up, and how they match up a hat with a pair of shorts and a scarf and a sunglasses. And I mean, honestly, it's almost like they grew on Instagram. And you're saying you're
and that's kind of where we started as well. And it's amazing. We actually had no idea the kind of community that is on Instagram when we started this. I mean, from my experience, I was like, oh, let's go to LA and we'll find some cool brands. And we just didn't really find what we were looking for. And then, like I said, we started looking on Instagram, and it's this whole community of women and small shops and moms that are behind the businesses and create the most amazing things. And so it was just something that we wanted to try to bring to the mainstream.
So again, just starting a little bit, again, for people who have a similar idea, you will then contact some of these companies and say, hey, I'd like to represent your shirt, your little pair of shorts or shoes on our website. Is that what you do? And then you've created an entire website of places to shop for little girl clothes, little boy clothes, hats and whatnot, and plus your own brand? Is that how you do it?
That's exactly right. And it's tough when you don't have an established business and you're asking somebody to, can we carry your brand? And they don't know you from anybody else. So that was a little bit tough in the beginning. But, there's a couple of brands that we do carry. One is Rags to Rach's. They were, a very small independent brand on Instagram when we all started. And Bo Hudson as well. They're out of Australia. Now Rags was on Shark Tank, and they're huge now. And, it's amazing to kind of see like how our little company and their little company have kind of grown at the same time, and it's just an amazing thing to see. So, you have to want to take a chance on you, and some people did, and everybody's kind of growing. So it's really cool.
Has it really? How are you getting the word out there about NickyandStella.com? And by the way, that's not your names. How did you come up with NickyandStella.com if your names are Gina and, am I saying it right, Alexia?
Yes. This is Gina speaking. We're basically extremely close. We have a big Greek family.
Oh, I love that.
And we named the company after our parents, Nick and Stella.
See, if I ever do a company, I'm going to call it Tony and Edith. Would that not be
that.
I mean, who wouldn't buy that, right? Just anything. I can make anything named Tony and Edith. Clothes, a restaurant, nail polish. I think anybody would buy that.
You should buy a .com.
Doesn't it? I'm gonna
I
do
can go
that.
check GoDaddy right now. You want me to?
No, but I have so many GoDaddy names you wouldn't believe it. If I like a name, oh my God! If I like a name on GoDaddy, I just call them up and I'm like, quick, is this one available? And then I just sort of take a variation of it. Okay, so NickyandStella.com are your parents, okay? And they must be very proud of you.
Yeah, we decided to name after our parents because A, we're very close. B, it was kind of symbolic of, having a strong foundation to start a business, and they're our strong foundation. They taught us everything that we know. They're extremely encouraging. Our whole entire family supports us so much. There's no way we could have built this business without every single one of them. So we really felt the name. We tried to come up with some cute, funny names, but it really came down to what's the strongest influence in our life, and it's our family. And that family started with our parents. So that's why we named it after them.
That's great. You do need a lot of help from family and friends. I mean, without that, it's really tough to try and get out there and do something on your own because, frankly, then you're always questioning yourself a little bit. When you've got that support, that's everything. And if you don't, just keep at it anyway. That's what I always say because not everybody has that. Yeah. So how many eyeballs, how many people, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah. How many people go to your website? Would you say every day or every week?
Oh gosh, hundreds. I mean, maybe like 400 or 500 people. We get 400 or 500 hits a day, and when we first started out, it was like we would get really excited when there was one person on our website.
I'd be
We're like, oh my God,
God,
somebody found us.
somebody wants my shirt.
Yeah.
No, that's. Have you gotten in front of any celeb kids? Any celebrities and their kids? Because that's it. That's golden. Start sending it around. Have you done that?
We have actually. One of the photos that you were showing is Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas, and her little boy is wearing our "My Dad Is Rad" T-shirt.
How do you get that in front? How do you get that in front of them? Again, for somebody who might want to do it, they're like, "How do I do that?"
It just depends. We were working with actually a PR agency for a little while, and that kind of helped us get some things in front of celebrities. But the Fergie one, it's actually her sister is a friend of our sister-in-law, so that helps.
Ask anybody, right? Any and everybody. So yeah, there's that picture. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we can send stuff out. We may not ever hear from that celebrity. We sent something to Tori Spelling once, and we never heard back. And about 8 months later, I was at the grocery store standing in line, and I looked at the tabloid on the shelf, and there was her kid wearing our T-shirt. So
maybe
it doesn't happen right now.
Yeah.
It might happen.
Yeah.
But did you get credit for it or no? In the
No.
Maybe
No,
she didn't know.
We are able to use that on our website and on our social media, and that creates a little bit of a buzz.
We promoted the hell out of it. I'll tell you that much.
I'll bet you did.
I don't blame
So
you.
yeah, so you've got this kiosk. I would imagine. I mean, even though you've got the .com and anyone could go there. I mean, fashion Newport Beach fashion. What is it? Fashion Island. That's got.
Fashion Island.
I mean, people who can spend some money go to that mall. Let's face it. I would imagine that you're getting a lot of people buying there, and then they're telling their friends, and then once they're home, they'll go online and buy your stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way for us to get more people aware of our website. And the nice thing is a lot of people that are working around Fashion Island have never heard of the brands that we carry because they are, a lot of them are small Instagram brands. They started as small brands. And even though they're extremely similar to us and all of our online customers, a lot of people have never even heard of them or seen their clothes. So when they do come by the kiosk, they're pleasantly surprised at how different the style is from a lot of what you see in the stores now. So that really kind of draws them in. And plus, of course, our brand is popular with a lot of the moms because, well, we just keep it real. It's funny, sarcastic sayings. They're all things we've said because we're both parents. We've both been there. We're not trying to sugarcoat motherhood. It's tough.
Yeah.
And,
It's really hard.
try and find
Where's your stuff being made?
Our Nikki and Stella brand is all made in the United States.
See, here's another one.
We buy blanks from companies like American Apparel, things like that, and then we print on them locally. So that's all made here. And we do the kids. We do a lot of mommy tees as well. And then some of the other brands, like we have quite a few that are made they're Australian, so they're made in Australia. So it's really kind of a mix of all over where everything is made. Any
other malls that you thought of, getting a kiosk in, like the Americana or the Grove? I mean, there's a lot of eyeballs there too. Those kinds of malls.
We've been approached by other malls, but right now, being just the two of us, we just don't have the ability to open any more locations.
Yeah, you could always send Nikki and Stella out to go work another mall, at one of those kiosks.
Exactly.
This is great. So where do you want to take it from here? I mean, what's your next step?
Our next step, I think, is really trying to grow, obviously, the online presence. And, I think another kiosk would be amazing. Once we have, a little bit of help, I think the Grove, we would kill it at the Grove. We have actually never really thought about retail. Retail's scary. It's a lot of overhead. And
I don't even know if you need it. I don't even know if you need it, especially if you've got Instagram and you've got a couple of celebrities wearing your kids' clothes. And I mean, I think that's incredible. I think Instagram really can sell this stuff, right? I mean,
it is. It's amazing the kind of community that we found on Instagram. I think getting a little bit of a taste of Fashion Island and seeing the reaction of people just walking by and seeing our shirts and laughing and thinking, oh my God, I need that. It's kind of given us a little bit of a niche. I think, one of our long-term goals would be to get maybe like a small boutique space with an office in the back type of thing. Not like in a major mall, but maybe something like that. But another thing is that we do wholesale our own brand, and so one of our main goals for the next year or two is to expand that. Again, it's just the two of us, so it's difficult to really, get out there and get in front of a lot of people. But people have bought our T-shirts wholesale. They reorder them. They sell really well. So that's definitely something we want to expand on.
Really
that's great
quick
for us because the wholesale aspect gets our product in front of people that maybe have never heard of us, exposes us to a whole new bunch of customers because we wholesale here. We wholesale to little stores in Florida and North Dakota and all over the United States. So we're getting that exposure from that as well.
Really quickly, because we're going to have to go in about 2 minutes. What was the toughest part of getting this launched? Give me 1 or 2 words. The toughest part was?
The toughest part was probably figuring out our niche. We knew we wanted to do it. We just didn't know exactly what, and we figured it out as we went along. We kind of narrowed down, what we were doing to really concentrate on the brand.
Why did
and
you?
Also,
go ahead.
to be honest, financially, we both quit our jobs to do this, and we basically took a giant leap of faith, held our breath, and said, let's just go for it. And so we did it. We're doing it full time, and we're doing okay now.
Yeah, we didn't get a paycheck for 1.5 years, so that was tough, but it was worth it.
Yeah, well, that's what you have to do, and you have to keep going, right? Did you ever want to give up? You can't.
No.
You can't. Even if everybody else
we
thinks you're crazy,
never had
right?
that day.
You just
Never.
can't. All right, so tell me how we can find you, how people can find you and buy your great stuff. I think it's amazing. And you'll put together a wardrobe for people too, right?
Yeah. Our website is www.nickyandstella.com. So it's all spelled out, NICKYANDSTELLA, nickyandstella.com. And we actually have a coupon for anybody that's listening, and if they want to buy anything, just use code UBN Radio, and you'll get 15% off of your first purchase.
Oh, I love that. That's brilliant. Thank you for doing that, and I hope you get a lot of hits on that. I really do. I'm going to promote that.
And also our Instagram is just at Nikki and Stella, and that's a great way to just see what's going on with us.
At Nikki and is spelled out, you said, right?
Yeah, everything's spelled out.
Okay.
Nikki
Thank you
and
so
Stella.
much for being here. I really appreciate your coming on. I really do.
Thank you, Deborah.
Everybody look their
Thank you
stuff
for
up.
having us.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Where's the common theme with you guys? You don't give up, right? You just can't.
Right.
And how about you guys? How can we find you if we don't happen to be walking into Home Depot or Bed Bath? We can go online and get your product too, right?
HangoMatic.com. HangoMatic. HangoMatic.com.
But you said you have an idea for something else too. I want to tease it a little bit. Do you have other ideas that you can just tell us, or you really don't want to go there? You just want to focus on this?
I'll just tell you it's something to do with a dog.
With a dog? Can you get your dog to start barking? That kind of a thing without hurting it? I mean, that's what I
don't think I'll ever do it just because it's so
Well, inventing is about finding a problem and then solving it. And we have a problem with our dog, and Karina has a really safe, humane, beautiful solution for it.
And I also say with the
It's an
internet,
accessory.
It's an accessory.
Yeah,
a dog,
something.
what, a little purse? No, a dog accessory.
It's something patentable. I only do things that I could patent, things that I could
Yeah.
protect. And not
Yeah,
have
you're
to-
very smart about that. You have an idea, you go to the patent
yeah.
department, and you're just someone who can see it all the way through, run people down on your heels, and you just never give up, right?
Right.
I mean, what a great team you people are. It's unbelievable. So again, you can find Hang-O-Matic in so many stores, Bed Bath & Beyond, the Container Store, Home Depot, and by the end of the year, there's going to be an advanced version. Isn't that what we would call it?
We're going for Hang-O-Matic Pro end of the year.
Hang-O-Matic
Oh.
Pro.
And I'm sorry, and the next thing is Thunderdome. We're on the premiere of the new hit show Thunderdome on ABC.
Okay, this is huge. How did
on
you forget to tell me
Sunday.
this?
yeah.
Next Sunday. My birthday's Friday.
Oh,
And
where's
then-
her applause? Come on, we have a huge studio here. No, come on, we have so many people here. Everybody, applause. Okay, and
And
then
then the following weekend is my son's first birthday, and the day after is the season premiere of Thunderdome with Steve Harvey on ABC at 9 o'clock.
so you're
June
both.
11th.
We have to go in like 2 seconds. So tell me really, really quickly. So you're on Thunderdome with Steve Harvey.
With Steve Harvey.
You guys are on with your product, but what's that about?
Right,
What's
so
Thunderdome?
we pitch the Hang-O-Matic versus another product, and the audience decides who gets the money.
Let them. Oh, that's great. Do you know who you're up against, or you don't know yet?
No, we do. We
Who?
do.
Yeah.
Brick Tile.
Brick tile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. Everybody just tune in and take a look,
Yeah,
right?
please.
Okay, thank you so much for being up here. I really, really appreciate it. It was really fun. Did you guys have a good time?
Oh,
Yeah,
had a
we
great
did.
time.
Yeah, I can't wait to take this thing home. And I'm serious. I'm going to take a picture when I get home and show you all the holes on my wall. You guys are going to laugh.
That'll be awesome.
You can use my wall as an example of what some girl did with her fingerprints. So,
Thank
yeah, thank you for being here. Really,
Thank you for having us.
And anyone who buys the Hang-O-Matic, we're donating 10% to the George Lopez
Yeah, 10%.
Foundation.
10% goes right to the George Lopez.
And that's
Foundation.
every time they
Every
buy
time.
that,
Every time.
okay? Every time you purchase this,
Yes.
10% goes
10%.
for the George Lopez Foundation.
Yes.
We're sending kids with kidney disease to camp this summer.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
It's
you.
been a great hour. And everybody, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Deborah Kobylt Live. And we'll see you next week.